Let's talk about Flying Coach, though. Great show, because you might get broken off. The disease of me might get in for that, because it is a great show. You're talking to people that everybody wants to talk to, with a guy in Sean McVay that everybody wants to talk to. You have great chemistry there. The conversations are going. Ty has listened to every minute of every single one. I've only got a chance to hear clips. The one today, though, with Kyle Shanahan, I listened to a 2-minute clip where him and McVay were both in Cabo, while the Matthew Stafford was also in Cabo. Trade almost happened, and Shanahan thought he was in the game, then he was out of the game, and McVay, like, these types of stories that you guys are getting over there is unbelievable. I think more people should listen, Triggs.
I appreciate it. We don't do a ton of promotion around it. This is really the only show I'm talking about it much, and then Good Morning Football, and I'm surprised it doesn't get as much pickup, because it's unfiltered 90 minutes of two coaches who don't do a ton of loose media. Like, Kyle Shanahan is available to the media, but he doesn't talk like this often, and he's comfortable with me, and he's comfortable with McVay.
Hey, was he still drunk? Was he still drunk from the house-to-house throw?
I don't know about that.
I know, sober. Maybe high. Maybe high. Maybe he's smoking dope.
Let's just say
I don't know.
He was loose. He was feeling good when he did this, and he was in a comfortable state, which is part of the key of this. We don't do it in the season. It's just 10 episodes with all different head coaches, but it's now in their downtime. But, McVay almost instigating is like, so Kyle, what did you think about the Stafford trade? Not knowing, and I'll go into their relationship because it's really interesting. But he says, what do you know about the Stafford? What do you think of Stafford trade? And he says, what's crazy is in one hotel, Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, Drew Brees, Sean Payton, Andrew Whitworth, we're all staying at this one really fancy hotel in Cabo when this whole thing is going down. Kyle Shanahan's 2 minutes away at a different location in Cabo while this is all going down. On the Saturday of that weekend, Kyle Shanahan did not leave the house. He was on the phone with Tom Condon, Stafford's agent. He was on the phone with all sorts of different sources around the league. And he said, my entire vacation has been spent watching Matt Stafford film, seeing if we want to get involved with this thing, and holy cow, I want to get involved with this thing. And the 49ers, I didn't realize were that interested in Stafford, where Shanahan's sacrificing what seemed to be his vacation to be watching Stafford film. And he finds out from a source who says, hey, you can go out with your wife, Mandy, tonight, have a Saturday night, put the film study away, get off the phone, nothing's going to happen tonight. 10 minutes into dinner, he gets a text. Deal is done. McVay closed the deal with Stafford.
Easy deal. Hey, go get drunk with your wife.
Yeah,
hey,
go and enjoy.
There's going to be some news coming that you are not going to want to be sober with here. You are going to want to be preoccupied, potentially, Shanahan, because that 2 weeks you just spent that you could have spent on the beach with your family that you never get to see, watching film in envy. And I think his exact words from the clip I listened to is, he is somehow underrated. He said, in my eyes, I thought he was a guy. And then I watched the film, I'm like, this guy is underrated mess. Like, Kyle Shanahan put over Matt Stafford in the interview with you a lot. And he feels the exact same way I do, because I had to watch Lions games because we have a Lions fan here. So I started watching the games. He's fucking unbelievable. He's
unbelievable.
McVay has to be so pumped about this thing.
He is. And, all the stuff that they talk about. And if you're a football geek, I implore you to listen to this. When I say geek, I mean it's like really in the weeds quarterback talk from two guys who live, breathe, eat quarterbacks. And what they talk about always is off schedule. So when things go, what is it, live, breathe, eat, or eat, breathe, live? I don't know what it is, Pat, but it's one of those three combination things. But when a quarterback is off schedule. So Kyle says, every quarterback when they're growing up typically is running around and making plays and is the best player in Pop Warner and the best player in high school and maybe the best player in college, and they can win a Heisman being out of the pocket. But to stay in the pocket, that's what the greats do. And it's Montana, it's Brady, it's Manning. And he's like, I was amazed with what Stafford can do in the pocket off schedule, meaning things are going wrong. Everything around him is falling apart. But the arm angle, the vision, the anticipation, he was just raving about Stafford. And having spoken to McVay probably every day this offseason, I'm not exaggerating. He's just excited to work with this guy. It's nothing against Jared Goff. It's just that Stafford has one of these special talents, and for 11 years,
what happened with him and
Goff? Maybe it hasn't equaled wins.
What happened with him and Goff?
That franchise might not have done the right things, and maybe he himself wasn't at the right place. Who knows? Maybe we'll see if it now works out.
Shregs, what happened with McVay and Goff? I think it's going to work out, by the way. I after watching Matthew Stafford and knowing about the Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders curse in the Lions organization for making them pay back the money, and after seeing Ted Lasso with the curse in the training room, that's what maybe the Lions need to do to get over that Calvin Johnson curse and making your best player of all time probably. pay you back money because you guys stink so bad as an organization. I mean, that's a curse that could potentially follow. I think MCDC maybe will gnaw the curse out of the building, but getting Matthew Stafford to LA with McVay is going to be fantastic. I'm all about it. I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. I like McVay's brain when it comes off. What happened with McVay and Goff? Has that ever been fully out there? Because there's always been the, I don't want to say kind of bullshit, but it's kind of been like Jared Goff, I got nothing but love for Sean McVay. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. But Goff was benched in that playoff game. He could very clearly play. He was already paid $100 million. McVay, does he get into that? And did Shanahan get into any of that about Jimmy G and the quarterback? Like, and was there any conversations about like managing? Like,
well, let's start with the Jimmy G thing from this podcast, because I don't nail it right ahead. I'm like, how could you draft a quarterback 3rd overall when you already have Garoppolo? And McVay says, I honestly, till the second you took Trey Lance, I thought you were taking Kyle Pitts. And I'm like, get out of here. And he's like, no, I really did, because I know the way Kyle is, and he can roll with Jimmy, and just the way he would do the mismatches. So one of the most closest allies or closest friends over the years to Shanahan is McVay, and also one of the most intricate offensive minds was thinking Kyle Pitts was the pick right up until the selection. But the Jimmy thing, I think it's become availability for Garoppolo, not talent. Because they win when he's on the field and he's healthy. It's availability. So when he went and got Trey Lance, Kyle explains that, it could have very easily been Mac Jones. But when they did the study and he finally felt that it was time, like, he made a decision on Trey Lance. And I kind of was pissed because I know Kyle real well. And I'm like, we all have careers here. I'm out there saying, I think it's going to be Mac Jones. I'm texting you and you're just not responding. And he's like, but that's the point. Like, so you predicted it wrong. What you were saying about Mac Jones is right. I think Mac Jones is going to be awesome. We just happened to take Trey Lance. I wasn't going to give it away, but all the analysis of what made Mac Jones a good player is not wrong. And we might get this pick wrong, and that'll be something we live with. But the Jimmy thing, I don't think it has anything to do against Garoppolo. I think he hasn't been healthy all the way. We want to make a move at quarterback. We want to open it up. And guess what? Everyone thought Mac Jones because of Kirk Cousins. Well, now he's got a mobile quarterback who might be able to throw the ball even further.